Sergio from Callejas Windows and Doors, and in this video we're going to be discussing the differences between a horizontal rolling window and a single hung windows. What are the pros and the cons? What should you look out for, and what should you keep in mind when you're considering one or the other? So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the horizontal rolling window. This is the window that we as window contractors recommend wherever possible in a house. And the reason for this is that this window long term, not only is it a very, very elegant and beautiful window, but it opens very easily. The only moving parts in this window is actually two wheels that it has on the bottom. That's entirely it. Aside from the locking mechanism, there's no other moving parts on this window. So you just simply open the lock, you slide it to one side, and then you have your window beautifully and easily available to be opened. This window, as you can see, it's going to have two weep holes on both sides as opposed to the single hung window. And the reason for this is that water, when it rains, it'll actually get in between this window here on the outside, and then the water will go inside a track that's in the back, and it'll seep towards the outside. So whenever you see a horizontal rolling window, you're going to see that it has two weep holes. And aside from that, this window is going to withstand Category 5 hurricane up to 175-mile-an-hour winds. And it could be made into very, very large sizes, which one of the features and benefits of making it into large sizes is that you get more visibility towards the outside as opposed to the single hung, which we're going to be discussing in a moment. And this window is very beautiful, very elegant, a horizontal rolling window, and the name says it for itself. Horizontal sliding. Horizontal sliding. So getting into the single hung window, this window here is just as strong and just as beautiful. The only difference, two differences. One, this one opens from the bottom up, and this one has two springs on each side. So the reason I was able to open this window so easily with one hand is that it has two engineered calculated springs on each side, which are calculated depending on the weight of this bottom panel for you to be able to lift it easier up. Now, the reason that the horizontal rolling is the preferred one for contractors and the ones that we recommend when retrofitting, which is replacing old windows for new windows, is that this window has those two springs on each side, which are always being tensioned. That means that they're always being pulled. And the only time that they get any relief, which is relaxation in the spring, is when you open the window. And in South Florida, tends to be in the cooler times of the year, which is not too often. So this window is never opened, not much. So those springs can cause issues long term, as well as when you get into the bigger panes of window, the springs can not be as strong because they're limited by their size. So it can be a little bit harder to open the window. You may need to use two hands to open the window. But aside from that, it's still the same quality of material, the same quality of glass, the same impact rating. Now, when would you use a single hung versus the horizontal rolling window? In my professional opinion, you would use it in a smaller opening. So let's say your opening is about yay big and this height. I would recommend a single hung window, because if you put a horizontal rolling window there, although it may fit, then your pieces of glass are going to be a lot smaller. And when we're replacing windows, the idea is not only do we want hurricane protection, but as much as possible as that beautiful natural light and that beautiful view inside your house. So smaller, narrower openings, I would recommend the single hung window than a horizontal rolling window. Now, wider and taller windows, I would recommend the horizontal rolling window, because where this window, let's say it's a very large one, we can make it into two panes, two pieces of glass. This window would have to be two separate windows attached together by a mole bar in the middle, thus taking away from a little bit of the aesthetics of the window. Still beautiful, still amazing, but this one has that benefit over the actual single hung window. Those are pretty much the basics when it comes to the differences of these two windows. If you're thinking about getting hurricane windows, you cannot go wrong with either. The only thing that I would say to keep in mind when replacing your windows is actually going to be the egress. So the egress, what that is your ability to escape in case of an emergency. This is applicable in only the bedrooms of a house. So whatever bedrooms you have, if you realize you have a small window, you just got to make sure that if you're going to put a horizontal rolling or a single hung, that window actually meets egress depending on the building codes of where you live. Aside from that, these two windows are beautiful. They're both made from high quality aluminum, impact glass, rated up to 175-mile-an-hour winds. Category 5, anything above that, you gotta worry about your roof and everything else inside your house. But these windows are absolutely spectacular and beautiful. I can't find any other differences in them. So what I really like to let homeowners know is that it entirely comes down to your personal opinion as to which you're gonna like better. Because if it's up to me, we install both of them, we get both of them done hundreds of times. Now, this one has a little bit more issues, but it's not a big deal. We can get it done as well. So this is the main differences. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.